Welcome, welcome everyone to another episode of Creating Your Desired Life with me, your host, Dr. Esther Graham. And I am so excited and thrilled to dive into the power of money, vibration, and mindset with my incredible guest, Dr. Tracy Timberlake. Y'all, this is going to be a powerful conversation. Dr. Tracy Timberlake is a multi-award winning business coach and expert on money mindset. She's known for her ability to help entrepreneurs align their spiritual beliefs with financial goals. So get ready to unravel the common misconceptions about money, faith, and mindset and discover how to achieve true financial abundance. Listen, y'all. I met Dr. Tracy. It's probably roughly maybe about a year, no, about 2 years ago. And of course, in June, she was at my Festa della Donna live event. And it was just absolutely so powerful. And one of the things that I love about today's topic is speaking about money mindset. This is especially important, I believe, for women, and learning how we can really have financial abundance, how we can honestly set ourselves up for success. Keeping in mind, right, that money isn't everything, but it is needed and it is necessary. And believe it or not, how we feel about money, our relationship with money really affects how we handle money and honestly, how much money comes into our lives. And so that's what we're going to speak about today. We are powerful as women. We are powerful human beings. And when we put some things in place, we can actually step in and actually walk in our power. I like to say, like Peter who walked on the water, I like to say we can walk on the water. We just really have to identify where we are right now. What's our relationship with money? And how can we shift our mindset from having a mindset of lack, because many times we don't know that we have a mindset of lack. Many times we don't realize it because it's cultural and we don't realize it. Have you, I don't know about you, but I, have always heard the saying or many times grow up hearing money doesn't grow on trees. Have y'all ever heard that? Money doesn't grow on trees. Or every time money comes into my hand, it leaves quickly. Believe it or not, those are all mindset things that are stuck in our subconscious mind and comes to the conscious. And what has to happen so money can begin to flow into our lives so we could live or let's say have financial abundance, we really have to shift our mindset. And that's what today's conversation is about. So I'm excited. I'm excited about today's conversation because I believe that you're going to be totally empowered. So let me introduce you to my best. Dr. Tracy is an acclaimed coach who has empowered countless entrepreneurs to transform their relationship with money. Dr. Tracy is here to debunk myths about money, vibration, and mindset. With her holistic approach, integrating faith, biblical principles, and metaphysical teachings, Dr. Tracy will share how changing your money mindset can lead to breakthroughs in both your personal and professional life. If you've been wondering why your money goals haven't aligned with your faith, then this episode is exactly what you need. So y'all, let's welcome to our stage. Let's welcome Dr. Tracy, affectionately known as Dr. T. Come on. Hey. Hello.
That's
So
great.
Nice to have you. Listen,
thank you for having me. That was wonderful. I love the fanfare of the crowd in the beginning. I'm like, yes, I love that.
Yeah, I always laugh and say, man, I'm so technology challenged, but this has been working out really
great. I love it so much.
Getting all the fanfare. In your introduction, I was thinking as I was reading it, it said that you help entrepreneurs, but I want to add to that. You help people, human beings. You don't have to be an entrepreneur.
Correct. I help all people because
all people.
whether you're in ministry, whether you're in
Yes,
corporate, whether you're a public
yes,
official, whether you have
yes,
celebrity clients,
yes,
musicians. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You can be
yes.
anybody, any
Anybody.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, and today's conversation, I'm excited because I believe it's such a powerful conversation.
Mhm.
Our mindset and what we have in our minds can really affect our money.
It's true.
And
That's where it starts.
that's where it starts. And I'm
Mhm.
going to tell you, Dr. TT, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but I remember the first time I heard you speak, and I heard you speak about money vibrations, y'all.
Mhm.
And if you haven't connected, I'm just going to plug this while I'm here. Connect to her, on Instagram, and she'll share with you wherever you can reach out to her. But when she began to speak about money vibration, it was in Florida, as a matter of
Mhm.
fact.
Mhm.
Yeah, money vibrations and what it means. And I love when she said, it's just money. It's just money. It's so powerful. And I thought, wow, I've never thought about it this way. So that's why I'm excited for you to share. So go ahead and begin to tell us. I'm just going to read a quick question.
Sure.
Explain what people typically get wrong about money vibrations and mindset. How about this? What is it? What is money vibration?
Sure. Money vibration. So everything is a vibration, right? That's how God created the world. He created it when he said, let there be light. That is sound. Sound is a vibrational frequency, and we have been carrying the vibrational frequency of God's creation since the beginning of time, since he created it. And so energy does not die, it just transmutes, meaning that a tree is a tree and then it can become a chair, right? So the tree doesn't go, it just turns into something else. Energy is the same thing, and nothing has ever died since God spoke the world into existence. And so everything vibrates. The cell phone that I have in my hand vibrates. The computers that we're on, this lip gloss, if you hold it under a microscope, it is going to vibrate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research about this, so please don't just take what I say. You can actually look this up. NASA has actually discovered that 94% of the known universe is nothing. It is just energetic vibration. It is not solid. It is, if you look at it under a microscope, it's just a whole bunch of particles just vibrating, at different speeds. So if we know that everything vibrates, and then there are certain laws that govern the universe. So most people think about the law of attraction, and I always say, well, the law of attraction is a secondary law. That is not the primary. The primary law is law of frequency. It is law of vibration. So when you know that something vibrates, then the law of attraction comes into play, because then we have cause and effect. Then we have law of attraction that says like attracts like. Well, if a vibrational frequency is vibrating at a certain level, it is going to attract things that make sense for that vibration. So a lot of us as human beings, we all have vibration. We have a vibrational frequency. This is measured. You can look at some of the research behind this.
Yeah.
This has been measured. Your vibrational frequency actually extends beyond your body about 5 to 8 meters. It just really depends on the person. So you operate as a Wi-Fi signal. So the things that come into your experience, right? The house you live in, the job you have, the relationships you have, the amount of money that you make, the car you drive, everything is a vibrational match to your current frequency. So what vibration are you living at? Because wherever you are living, that is what's going to call in things that are a match to that. It's why, and I talk about it specifically for money, because money is something that a lot of us need, whether it's to fulfill a purpose, a dream, to build the business, to take care of our families, whatever it is. Well, there's a certain level that you are automatically assigned to based on the vibrational frequency that you have. A person who vibrates at a level of $100,000 is never going to make $1 million. It is a universal impossibility, because that's not how the law works. And we can see this, which is why a lot of people who win the lottery end up going bankrupt, right? You may luck out and get some money, but if you don't match the vibration, you're not going to keep it. And so that's why a lot of people can make a lot of money, but then they lose it. It's all frequency when you understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I guess what you just said, like if you're operating at $100,000 level, you'll never make it to $1 million. Can you change that? Can you?
Yes.
Okay, great. How do you change that frequency?
Yeah. So the work is to tune into higher level frequencies, right? And so that can be as simple as, I love going on walks, and that brings me a great joy, right? And you have to tune your mind. Like, this is why we do a lot of the mindset work, is because it all starts in the mind. What you believe is actually very indicative of what your frequency is, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you believe you can achieve something, and I don't just mean paying lip service to, I know I can do
Right.
anything. I can
Yeah.
do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like we
Mhm.
pay lip service to a lot of that, but fundamentally, do we believe it? Because it shows up in our belief system. If you
Yes.
don't believe it, then you know that the energetic frequency that you vibrate at isn't a match. So then you have to change your belief system, which means you have to change what you're telling yourself. You have to change the
Mhm.
people, even sometimes the people that you are around, because,
Mhm.
as the saying goes, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, who are you spending the most time with? Because if their energy is low vibration and they're always complaining, everybody's broke, we never have enough, we're living in lack, well, then you're going to adopt some of those things too, because that's who you're around. So sometimes we just have to elevate our frequency by the community that we surround ourselves with, the things that we read and put into our eyes. Like, are you reading the right things? Are you watching
Yeah.
terrible things on the news? What are you reading in books, right? Are you reading high vibrational content, or are you struggling with a lot of complaining? What do you watch on television? All of those, what do you feed your body? Even all of those things matter, because food has vibrational frequency too.
Yeah. So what's interesting, I love that. So you can raise the level of your vibration, and who you're surrounding yourself with, and even how you're speaking. Paul said, and your belief. Paul said, I believe, and so I speak. In other words, so
Mhm.
we speak what we believe. So we
Correct.
also have to look, is what I'm hearing you saying, is look at who you're hanging around, look at what you're speaking. And if what you're speaking is in alignment, you've got to raise, if you're going to go any higher,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because we
Mhm.
do a lot of, I can do all things, but we're doing nothing.
But we're
You know,
doing nothing. I can do all things, and yet you do nothing.
and
That's correct. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And the other piece, my husband says something, and I think this is and maybe you could speak to this a little. He has a saying that he says that every natural everything that's natural has a
Hmm.
spiritual connotation. Does
Oh
that sound
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
said, and so what I'm hearing you say
Hmm.
is that the the vibration, we're on a frequency that's
Hmm.
all natural, even the money, but it also relates into the spiritual. And I think that's a part of it
Yeah.
that's so foundational, that can bring you to that million, can help you raise
Right.
that vibration.
No, absolutely. Because, we know on a spiritual level what the promises are,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah, yeah.
promise of purpose and the promise of an abundant life and all of those things. But very few people actually will say that they're truly living in that space. Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've asked thousands of people this. Like, I've spoken on stages and even at your event, and I always ask, like, who thinks that they're actually living an abundant life? No one has raised their hand yet. And I've been doing this for years, right? Because there seem to always be these blocks, but we know that that's the promise. And that promise is on this side of eternity. It's not
Yeah.
like when you get to heaven, then you can have the abundant life.
And
No, like, you can have it here.
right now.
Right
Yeah,
now, like,
yeah,
you can experience it. And we don't allow ourselves to, because we don't think that it's available for us. Like, a lot of people, whether you come from a faith-based background or not, like, some people will think that, their holiness is attached to their bank account. Like, the poorer you are, the more holy you get to be, or,
yeah.
or,
Still not true.
not true. Or, making a lot of money is bad, or there are, like, you're unethical somehow if you're making a
Yeah,
lot of money. So we have all of these subconscious societal beliefs that we have really tapped into,
yeah.
and we don't realize it. Even the concept you
Right.
talked about earlier, money doesn't grow on trees, like the things that we heard growing up, the things that we see in our society, it really does dictate what we believe is available for us. So you have to put yourself in a different situation where
Yeah.
you can believe higher, you can believe more.
Yeah, it's funny because that really keeps our and that I think keeps money doesn't grow on trees. Every time I get money, I lose it, or
Hmm.
I'm broke,
Right.
I don't have,
Hmm.
and so that really, when you're thinking about the vibrations, it keeps us low. It keeps us
It
on low,
keeps us very low. and
very low.
and because we don't see vibrational frequency, like,
Yeah,
and when the Bible talks about, fix your eyes not on what is seen, this is
yeah,
what we're talking about here, not
yeah,
on what is seen, which is hard to do, because how do you look at something that you can't see? But
yeah,
we don't see the ramifications of the words that we speak. We
yes,
don't see the ramifications of saying those things that you just said, like, oh, I'm broke, or I'm always
yeah,
broke, or why can't I make money, or why can't I catch a break? Like, all of these things that we're speaking that is frequency. The sound of your voice creates a dynamic frequency around your body, like you're the Wi-Fi signal. And then we begin to feel into those, right? So the thoughts that we have in our head come out of our mouth, the things that we have in our heart come out of our mouth, and then we wonder why our lives look the way that they do. It's because we just haven't tapped into, and it seems overly simplistic. And I wish it does. It sounds woo-woo and it sounds crazy to be like, just tap into the frequency. But it is that simple. We make it complicated. And life is nuanced. And so I understand that. But if we can understand this concept, I think we will at the very least start moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I often say, at least for me, like money, I don't have a problem with money because if I want something and then I know that I can get it, and it doesn't matter what the cost is.
Right.
I just make up my mind. This is what I want. Here's the other piece. I also place myself around people, that are not naysayers. They're not Debbie Downers. These are people the glass is always going to be full and not half empty.
Yes. And that is for it's not just around money, right? Because it's not like this is your personality around money, but everything. It's like this is pervasive, meaning that if you can learn to look at everything in your life like this, then it becomes a normalized frequency. I was speaking at a conference over the weekend and I ran into somebody that I hadn't seen for probably 20 years. So and I meet so many people that quite honestly, I couldn't place where I knew her, right? So she was like, Tracy. And I was like, hi. And I couldn't place, I seen her at a different event. But I hadn't seen her probably since I was 20 something. I was 20, probably last time I saw her. And, so I was doing something and something had happened with the coffee and I was trying to navigate through that. And she was like, you just have such a positive mindset. She was like, you're just the same. You're the same person that you've always been. And I'm like, I feel like I am. And I do generally have everything is figure outable. We can solve this. There's but if you look at a problem and you stare at a problem long enough, the problem begins to take a life of its own. The problem becomes the thing that, whether it's money or anything else, the problem you begin to adopt the frequency of the problem and not the frequency of the solution. So even that is just such a simple concept, is adopt the frequency of a solution.
Yeah, adopt the frequency of the solution and not the problem. It's funny because often we do adopt the problem and not the solution. And so here it is. Now we again have to shift our mindset. We've got to train our minds to let me look at the solution, because the problem is going to be the problem.
Right. It's going to exist. And this is, we're human. We are going to experience problems. Right? That's life.
Yeah. So tell me, how does faith and business intertwine when it comes to financial success?
Oh, I love it. Well, faith and business. Let me talk faith and business for a second, because I just put something on Instagram and I was talking to you about this. But I realized on Monday, I was having a conversation. I realized that, working in ministry has prepared me for entrepreneurship like nothing else, because I think that when you've worked in ministry for so long, you know what it's like to build something up from the ground up, right? And you know what it takes, and the sleepless nights, and the prayer and the tears and the everything. I think, right. Business is very much the same. All of the things that I learned then in ministry, this is the same thing. And when you look at life as your ministry, and I say that all the time, that my life is my ministry, then, the faith aspect of it carries over, because that's just who I am fundamentally. So business and faith, I don't separate the two, because they are one and the same. This is my calling. This is what I'm called to do.
Yeah. And when you think about ministry, it is a business.
It is. You should up. And I've said this since forever, that organizationally you have to look at it like a business.
You do.
There's mission, there's vision, there's goals, there's all of those things.
There's building things up, there's grassroots movement, there's all of these things that you have to do as an entrepreneur when you're starting your business. It's the same thing that you have to do in ministry. So it's very much intermingled. It's the same, and the same with you. So much what I've learned in ministry, I've applied it to business.
Right. I'm thankful for those times.
And so it helps you. It just builds your muscle, doesn't it?
It really does, because I think what it forces you to do is realize, number one, it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
two, you're not actually doing it alone. Like, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs can feel like that because it's an isolating experience when you feel like you're by yourself. Like you feel like you're the only one who's going through it. But when you know that it's one, it's a calling, two, it's, you are co-creating the experience with the divine. It doesn't feel so heavy. And I think that's
Mhm.
part of it is it doesn't feel like a pass fail like situation. I don't
Yes,
ever feel like
yes.
something is going to fail. It might not go the way I want it to go, but I never feel like something is going to, like I'm going to fail at something or it's going to just blow up in my face.
Yeah. Well, I love what you also said. You said when you're co-creating
Mm.
with the divine.
Hmm.
Many times we don't co-create with him. There's two things I believe happen. I think sometimes we sit and we just want him to create. You know
A
what I
lot of
mean?
people want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or just
Yeah. Right. Just like make it magically happen and I'll
yeah,
take over from
yeah.
there.
Exactly. And then the flip side, there's some of us that we create all by ourselves.
Hmm.
And then
Correct.
we wonder, wait a minute.
Right.
You know,
I did that wrong.
I
That's
did that.
wrong.
I did that wrong. So I
Right.
think it's really important. And again, this, no matter what your belief system is, you have got to co-create with the
Yeah.
divine. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I think that that's so important to our success,
Agreed.
especially and our holistic success. But since today we're speaking about finances, it's so
Hmm.
important to our financial abundance because it's our
Yes.
financial success that brings us wonderful memories.
Yeah.
We can become stronger givers, not just the
Hmm.
basic, but go
Right.
above
Above and beyond.
and
Hmm.
beyond. We can become philanthropists. There's just so much that
Right.
when we can really raise that vibration and really
Hmm.
begin to operate, there's just so much more that we can do that it brings full abundance. I believe it just brings
Oh
full
yeah.
abundance in. What I also love, Dr. Tracy, is that what you teach and what you do is so spiritually aligned.
I
And I
try.
think that's it. Yeah. And so talk to us a little bit about the importance of really being aligned, like how having a strong, let's say biblical, what you're
Hmm.
teaching is really a biblical foundation that many times we missed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like who is it? Like for example, the law of giving.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
people many times say, oh, that's no, really, that's just a universal law that when you give, it's going to
It
come
comes
back to
back.
you.
Right.
It comes
Right.
back. That is, and so many people, they may not ever go to a church in their whole entire life or whatever, but they
Right.
understand that law. And really, that's a biblical principle, but it's
They
also
are.
a law. It's a
It also,
universal law.
right, and that's exactly what I teach. We talked about running ministry like a business, but one of my biggest frustrations in ministry is that I was seeing, and this is me being very new to ministry, like
Yeah,
very young,
yeah,
college
yeah,
age.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think what I was so frustrated about, because I was a business student, I
Mhm.
graduated with a business degree, is I saw businesses flourishing and experiencing successes, and I wasn't seeing churches and faith-based organizations experiencing the same thing.
Yeah,
And so that was sort of my introduction to the frustration of it all. Now,
yeah,
it wasn't until years later that I started studying what what were those principles, and I happened upon some of these keys to success. And when you read a lot of books, you realize that actually there's so much biblical principle in a lot of these success books, even if they never say it. When you know what the Bible says and you know what these business books say, it's very easy to put them together. And so my prayer was, it's in Exodus 33, and my prayer was, God, if you find favor with me, teach me your ways. And I said, God, if you find favor with me and you teach me your ways, I will teach other people this. Like, this will be my life's mission. I will do it. I will teach it if you teach me. And so
yeah.
that's really how I started to learn about some of these things. Is there's a lot that people talk about, whether you're looking at personality tests, whether you're looking at, some new age things that people like, concepts, like even things like law of attraction, which people would consider new age, all of that actually exists in the biblical context.
Yes,
It's just been taken out, and God has been taken out of it. And, it's
yes.
become more man centric. And I always am trying to bring it back to making it God-centric, because these are the principles. These are the keys to the kingdom that exist. And that's why people can still find success. Like, it's not necessarily a key to a relationship with God. It's not a key to, eternity necessarily, if that's where you're coming from. But are they keys to living on this planet and finding success here? Yes. And that's why you'll see people who are not faith-based at all, don't believe in God. They can be atheists.
Yeah.
And they're still experiencing these levels of success, because the keys don't discriminate. Like, they don't care whether you believe in God or not. They're still the keys. They are universal law and principle. They exist for everyone, and you get a chance to operate in them or not. And it's a choice.
Yeah. And what would you suggest, I should say, or recommend they would bring all of that into alignment?
Yeah. Back to the conversation of alignment it's a question of identity, I think, right? And understanding who you are fundamentally and who you are supposed to be, and then allowing everything else into your life to come into your experience as it is congruent with that, and centering yourself, knowing who you are, knowing whose you are, what your fundamental beliefs are. It's a very good litmus test, because then you don't have to wonder. If you're doing everything from that place, then alignment naturally occurs. And back to the conversation of frequency, when you are truly aligned, like when there's a vertical alignment with yourself and with who God's called you to be, usually the things that you attract in that space anyway are generally aligned. Like, you're not even going to be available energetically for things that aren't aligned, because they have no business coming into sort of your Wi-Fi bubble.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So one of the things that you say, and you said it a lot at my live event, and I just want you to speak about this just a bit, just the very simple phrase. And what does that mean to you? And how can we just really internalize this? This is what you say. And I heard different people. What does she mean? It's just money.
It's just money.
It's just
money. We have, in the society that we live in, we make money this separate entity. Really and truly, like, we have turned money into like its own thing. We have no problem when it comes to most things, right? We can trust that most things will, like, even if it's a job, at some point I'm going to get a job. It's fine. I'll just do what I need to do. Or, when it comes to relationships, we find love, we find friendship, we find those. But money, for some reason, has evaded us. And we think that it is this separate situation. And you have to look at money like it's nothing, because it is nothing. Quite frankly, it is nothing. It is actually nothing. Yeah. We as a society have put value on it, but it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a form of currency. 500 years ago, they were trading goats, and no one was putting that much pressure on a goat. Like, no one was like, oh, I need 10,000 goats because I have to, God, I got, like, no one was putting that much pressure on goats. But we live in a society, we put so much pressure on the money. And I'm like, it is just money. It's just, and when you operate according to heaven's economy, and I say this all the time, like, heaven's economy is not hard up for money. Like, it can literally, like, they are so not hard up that they have made streets of gold. It's not even a big deal. They're just walking on streets of gold. Their feet are on streets of, because it's not a big deal. But we are looking at it from a very limited perspective of, this is all the money that I have. But do you realize that there is, like, any money that you need, whatever, I don't care if you need $17 bazillion, that exists in this world. It's just about finding a frequency that matches it so that it can come to you, because everything we need already exists. It all exists. You just have to recognize that. You just have to figure out how to get it to you. But it is just money, the same way that it's, just a computer or, just a cell phone. Like, we shouldn't be so attached to something that really is meant to be a source or like a resource for us. It is something we're supposed to use. We should not be looking at money as the source. Money is not the source of our safety. Money is not the source of our security. Money is not the source of our joy or our happiness or our sadness. But that's how a lot of people look at it, and we put that energy onto it. But it's not, it's just money. The same way that, this is just an iPad. This is like, it doesn't, my life is not hinged on it. But when you have so much attachment to it, and you put all of your hopes and dreams in the amount of money you make, or the amount of money you have, or the amount of money you can acquire, then it becomes something bigger than it was. And you are no longer the lord of your money. The money is now a lord over you. And it's very problematic just in general for society.
Yeah, very much so, just in general. So I want you to share with me, what do you think about this? As we're talking about money, mindset, vibrations, many times I hear people say, time is money and money is time.
Time is not money. I think
Yeah.
time is more valuable than money.
Yeah.
So time is not in fact money. Again, money is a tool. It is a resource. It is a screwdriver. It is a hammer. It is a spoon. It is a fork. It is a knife. So the same way that I look at a spoon and a fork and a knife is pretty much the same way that I'm going to look at money. Do I need a spoon and a fork to eat my dinner? Yes. Do I need money to build my business? Yes. But they are just tools. My responsibility is to steward those things well. Time is an unrenewable resource. Money, you can always make more money.
Yeah.
You can always make more money. You can always, spend more money, acquire more. You cannot get back time. And so time is actually a much more valuable resource in the context of that. So time is not in fact money. Time is more valuable than money. But how you spend your time, right? And so with money, I never look at money as being spent. Like I might invest it, I might release it, I might, put it in different places. Time is something that you spend because you cannot get it back. Money is something you can always renew. Time is something that you spend. So you have to be very cognizant of how you are spending the time that you have.
Yeah. Time, again, it's not replaceable. When it's finished, it's finished. Money, you can always reproduce. So time is definitely not money. So often I hear people say time is, I'm like, no, it is really not. See, you can always go make more money. You can always go, but what you can't do is get back your time.
You can't. I cannot go back to the time that I made that one mistake. Like I wish that it were so easy, but it's not.
And all of this is a mindset shift, I believe. All of this is a mindset shift as to, how you see money. Your relationship with money is extremely important because that leads into how you handle money as well. Right. And so, and all of that leads in to your vibration, to your mindset and everything. And really where you go with this. I think a lot of people, live in poverty, let's say.
Yeah.
And if it's not physical poverty, it's mindset poverty or lack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of their relationship with money and how they feel that they have to work for money or get money. Or does that make sense?
Oh, it absolutely does. It's one of those things that, and because I do work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of the time, and you can tell somebody's mindset, right? Because let's take an entrepreneur who is starting a business, and then they've started a business. Let's say they're a year, 2, 5 years. I don't care how long they're in their business. And then when the business is not doing well, immediately the first thing that they usually will think is, I need to get a job. Like that tells me somebody's mindset, because your fundamental belief is the only way that I know how to make money is through getting a job, working for someone else. Now, there's not anything fundamentally wrong with that necessarily, but if you're called to be an entrepreneur, why is that your mindset? Like, why does your mindset say the only way that I know how to make money is by getting a 9-to-5 job? Because that's not even real. And I tell people all the time, like, I make way more money now like doing this than I ever did working in a 9-to-5 job ever. As a matter of fact, as soon as I left my 9-to-5 job, 2 weeks after that, I doubled my salary. Just within 2 weeks of leaving my 9-to-5 job. So I know that is not true at all, but that's a belief system. And this is why you have to be really, really aware of your own thoughts. Because for an entrepreneur who's called to entrepreneurship, instead of saying, oh, I need to go get a job, really it's a conversation of, what can I do next? Deuteronomy tells us that God has given us the ability to produce wealth. He's given you the ability. He doesn't just give you wealth. Like, that doesn't work that way. He's giving you the ability. So can you use those abilities to do it? Now, sometimes people are called to 9-to-5 jobs, and we need those for society. But if that's not your particular calling, don't make that your fundamental belief that that's the only way that money can circulate in your life.
And if you're called to entrepreneurship, act as an entrepreneur and not treat your entrepreneurship as a 9-to-5 job.
Correct. Right.
Because sometimes we have a 9-to-5 mindset. We have an employee mentality, a 9-to-5, and we function that way. Our mentality is 9-to-5. We're functioning as an employee as opposed to the owner of the business, that entrepreneur, that CEO, and so that too is a mindset, I believe, a mindset shift, and that adds to everything that we're doing. Dr. Tracy, what is there, as we close, what's some immediate advice that you could give our viewers today that they could immediately change? And then where can everyone connect with you?
Yes. So I think one of the most immediate things that you can do is write out your money story. Like, because that's going to dictate a lot. Like, if you think of what was your first money memory, that first money memory that you have as a child usually shows up in your adult life, right? So if you're wanting to change your money mindset, if you're like, I know that my money mindset is a little bit off, one of the first things that you can do is just write your money story, because it's going to tell you what you believe and where it came from. And when you know where it came from and you have sort of like a pinpoint, you can go, oh, okay, I see how I believe that. Now I can change that belief because now I have a choice to change it, versus it just living in your subconscious.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how to change it. You have no
Yeah.
idea why you think that way. So start with your money story. And then anybody can find me anywhere. I'm Tracy Timberlake everywhere. Instagram is probably the best place to find me, or you can shoot me an email, contact at drtracytimberlake.com.
Oh, yay! Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us
You.
today, everyone. Let's just give her some love and make sure that you comment. Yay! I'm so excited that you came. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back. Thank you so much again, y'all. Money vibrations and mindset. So powerful. Make sure that you take those action steps. Make sure you take those action steps. Thank you, Dr. TT.
Thank you, Dr. Esther.
Take care. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye. All right, such a powerful conversation. Let's go into some reflection, some mindfulness. So she shared several nuggets with us today. And what I would like for you to do is really think about, where are you with your money right now? What is your money mindset? And so let's just take a few minutes, write that down, exactly what she's just said. Write down. Take a few minutes. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that's what's needed. And write down, what did you know about money? What have you learned about money from since you were a child that's really in your life today? So let's just take a few minutes and do that. Take a few minutes and think about that. It is time for self-reflection. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you took that time and really began to reflect on, what is your relationship with money and what were you taught about money when you were a child that's affecting you now. And then once you begin to do that, you can begin to see about the changes that you need to make. So, the mindfulness is only for a few minutes, but when you're finished, before you go to bed, begin to think about that a little bit more, right? So awesome. So today our question is, let me read it. Our question comes from Denver, Colorado, and it is Stacy. Y'all know I got to put my glasses on so I can see. So the question is, in what ways might the belief in money vibration lead someone to neglect practical financial strategies? That's an excellent question. Honestly, there is no way that knowing and really knowing what money vibration is and exactly, exactly what it is would lead to neglect and practical financial strategies. We should always have practical financial strategies, and really understanding the vibration of money just adds to that. And once your vibration raises, then of course your practical strategies will also elevate as well. What you're doing, in other words, to bring that amount of money that you want into your life. And I'd like to add, how much do you want to make? So for example, like what Dr. Dr. Tracy said, if you're operating on the vibration of $100,000, then you're never going to be that millionaire or move to the level of making $1 million, right? And so I think you really have to discover what is the level of vibration that you're operating at. And so you put that as you're looking at your practical strategies, you know? And so once I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm operating at a lower vibration and I need to raise that vibration, begin to look at everything that's around you, the people you're hanging out with, your thoughts, everything. And then you begin to put all of those strategies together. That becomes very practical, and you begin to move in the direction that can take you to the level, the financial abundance that you so desire for your life. And so that's a great question. I hope it helped you. Listen, make sure that you go back and you listen to this, to our conversation. Listen to this interview again with Dr. Tracy Timberlake. That will help you to understand that even more, even more. Today, the quote that we have, right, for the week, your quote for the week. And this is really a quote for something Dr. Tracy says all the time. And she says, my life is my ministry and my ministry is fully funded. My life is my ministry and my ministry is fully funded. And so begin to see that what your life is, and begin to see that it is fully, fully, fully funded. In other words, you're going to have everything that you need and you want to do and to accomplish the things. Know who you are. Know whose you are. You know, be very clear, be very intentional, be very purposeful about everything that you're doing. Listen, this is a part of living your desired life, right? This is a part of how you create your desired life. You know, we spoke earlier about that co-creation, right? When we begin to co-create, right, then we can really begin to live that life of design. We can begin to live that life, that desired life, that life of desire that we so have, and the life that God has intended us to live in the first place. And so I really want you to begin to really think about everything that discussed. Listen, especially again, as I said, as women, we sometimes how do I want to say it? Sometimes I know from my personal experience, especially, I have my spouse, and so I'll leave all of the money to him. But one day I decide, no, I need to understand finances. I need to navigate all of this. Why? Because, right, I also have to be independent when it comes to raising my own money vibrations and understanding my alignment, understanding where is it that I want to be personally, financially, right? And it leads into everything. It adds into everything, every area of your life, every area of your life. So the quote for the week is, let's pull that quote up again, if that's okay, so we can see it. Make sure that you write it down. My life is my ministry and my ministry is fully, fully, fully funded, fully funded. So thank you guys so much. Listen, just to share a couple of things with you, our Life by Design marriage retreat is coming up. Marriage enhancement retreat is coming up December 11th through the 15th in Scottsdale, Arizona. When I think about, marriage and what it takes, and I just remember myself going into my marriage, and I was divorced once. And so when I entered into my marriage, I've been married now for 36 years. There are some things I took into it. So, what is it that you're taking into your marriage? Let's talk about that. Let's discover it. What have you taken into your marriage that that you knew should not have been there, but yet you're still struggling with it? What are some of the key issues that stop people, that prevent people from getting a divorce? What is it? And so in the marriage enrichment retreat, wherever you are in your marriage, whether you're just starting out or you've been married for a while, it's time to rediscover or discover what is it. Don't live in your marriage in mediocrity. Live your abundant life in your marriage where you now enjoy your marriage. You're enjoying your spouse. And so join me and my husband on December 11th through the 15th. And the information will be posted on my website. It will be posted in here to where you can just connect. We only have about 4 slots available. So come on in and be a part of the Marriage Enhancement Retreat. I absolutely love that you guys chose to join me today in creating your desired life. I hope that you continue to join and make sure that you connect on Facebook, on Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube channel and share. Let's share. Let's share. Let's share everything that's going on, because this is creating your desired life. What is the life that you want to live? Right? Where is your life in every area? Where are you financially? Where are you in your business as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as a leader in your community, in your church, in your family? Where are you? And where is it that you want to go? Where are you in your relationships? Let's go ahead and let's live a life by design. Let's create our desired life and live a life of abundance. Living a life of abundance and not a life of mediocrity. I cannot wait to see you again. God bless you. Have a great week on purpose. Take care.